Beautiful Saturday morning it is this morning.
Yes, indeed, it's a beautiful Saturday. And yes, the weekend is here.
The weekend is here. Sometimes when the weekend is here, you'd say, well, thank God it's the weekend. But sometimes it's not completely that way, especially when you just have to do what you have to do.
Yeah.
I am Fundi Bello, by the way. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Saturday Special.
And I am Victor Opone, co-hosting alongside this delectable lady. And definitely, you know, we do it every Saturday. We run you through the newspaper review, then the governor's activities, maybe travel sometimes, and then the interview where we have fine conversations before, we now go on for the global updates.
Yeah, indeed. And this morning, talking of the newspaper review, I have the Saturday Tribune here with me. On the front page, we have a story on page 5. It says, Northern Senators of Afenifere raise alarm over worsening insecurity. Atiku blasts Tinubu over attack on his petrol subsidy model. And that story is on page 19. My wife gets drunk, bed wet, beats me to a pulp. And that's coming from the husband. And the seventh wife is divorcing. And that's a response from the wife. That story is on page 21. As funny as it sounds, it's really alarming and it's an unfortunate situation.
If those cases are true, I think the guy needs to check himself.
Why?
Well, if, the woman is doing that, like we said last week, what have you not acknowledged from when you were dating before you got married? And why have you divorced? 7th
time,
so
around 6 times.
Yeah.
So she will be the 7th person.
So maybe she's just using that as her own kind of control, like, you have divorced all the parents.
I mean, she's trying to say that means, something is definitely wrong with you too as a man. Yeah. I mean, for you to have left 6 women, I'm the 7th person. And you're still planning on leaving me also. So maybe she's trying to say is also lying.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of things that,
well,
I know when you go to court some days.
Of course, it will be sorted. There are more stories on page 13. Terror alert. We've shut schools in high-risk areas, stepped up vigilance, and that's coming from Sokoto State Government. Makinde 2027 campaign will be about putting Nigerians first, and that story is on page 7. Oshu, we are still studying election results, and that's coming from Oyebamiji. That story is on page 7. Well, we will be waiting for the outcome of that study. And more stories on page 19. Tinubu suspends 3 sex as ICPC uncovers fake agency in SGF's office. Again, another fake agency. I mean, it's the investigation, and I think there should be an overall of all these agents. I mean, all these agencies in a lot of these offices.
Who's going to do that?
The presidency should take it up. I mean, if now we heard of the Prince Adeyemi's fake agency scandal, and now this is another fake agency that is being uncovered. Now, do you know how many fake agencies that is currently?
There's a problem because, they were trying to cover up some parts from the investigations being done on the previous case. And, in the mix of that, we fail to recognize that there is context to all the things. The guy was making a kind of outcry. You understand? For him to say he was going to pay something amount of money to some people.
He made the outcry because I think at some point he mentioned that there was already a threat to his life. And I think that was why he made the outcry, because he also mentioned that the intermediary between himself and Femi Gbajabiamila is dead. So it felt like his only witness was no longer there. So, and his life was being threatened.
Yeah.
And I think that was what even brought up this whole saga, fake agency saga in the first place. And now we are hearing of more
I think if something
fake agencies.
If something did not happen, it wouldn't have blown up like this. So I think we need to check ourselves.
Now imagine there was synergy. Imagine their plans, everything was
working fine.
Worked well. He gave Femi Gbajabiamila allegedly the cuts he requested. He sorted him, he settled everything. we most likely will
And they made it
not
to the
hear
budget.
about this.
They made it to the budget.
Into the budget,
So,
2026
something.
approach. And we ask ourselves now, where is our moral as individuals, not even as Nigerians now, not even as individuals? Where is our morals? I mean, when you decide to set up an agency, a fake agency, do they ask themselves the questions? The monies that will be allocated to these agencies, everything that will be spent, could actually do something for few people in this society. Unfortunately, this is where we have found ourselves as Nigerians, as a nation. Well, let's just see what happened, the outcome of this agency, this fake agency now that the presidency is talking about. And of course, 3 permanent secretaries have been suspended currently by the president. So let's see what happened here on. More stories on page 19. Peter Obi kicks off campaign, unveils economic security agenda. Governor Adeleke has no plan to join APC. Campaign council says his visit to Tinubu customary. And that story is on page 5. And lastly, on the front page of Saturday Tribune, that's a story on page 8. We are happy Osun people are saying Governor Adeleke is not in position to tell them who to vote for in 2027. And that's coming from ADC spokesman Abdullahi. That's all we have on the front page of Saturday Tribune this morning. Taking some inside stories on page 5. Northern senators Afenifere raise alarm over worsening insecurity. Demand state police stronger community security. Yoruba group warns attacks on farmers threaten food security. Before we move on, we have a commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The home is under attack, but not for long, because Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains no fit do us shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No greed. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go hypo.
All right, thank you very much for staying with us. It's still Saturday special, and we are still reviewing the dailies this morning. More stories on page 5. Governor Adeleke has no plan to join APC. That's coming from Imole Campaign Council. 4 Amotekun officers killed in Ondo ambush. 2027, Ibadan State creation will top my agenda in Senate. And that's coming from the SDP candidate. Ijumo APC chairman dies after collapsing a party reconciliation party. That's unfortunate. May his soul rest in peace. More stories on page 8. Well, we have the Ask the Doctor page. No breast at 15 years. Water intake for adult. Do I need sleeping pills? Between sugar and sweeteners. Is this panic disorder? My problem with gout. Vitamin C and oranges working on my health. Those are questions that have been raised and answered on page 9. More stories on page 13. Terror alert. With short schools in high-risk areas, stepped up vigilance. Usman, Sokoto security advisor, says no imminent threat to tertiary institutions. And that story is on page 13. And on weekend Lagos, Abesan demolition, residents set up building compliance committee, seek compensation for victims. And that story is on page 16. Why Africa missed out on the first, second, and third industrial revolutions. And that's coming from Inua Nitda, Director General. That story is on page 17. And more stories. More stories on page 27. Fishermen renewed demand for $1 billion Bonga oil spill indemnity fund. And that's on page 29. And on the back page where we have some sports stories. ANF SSSC begs Tinubu to save Nigerian football. Aroko Dare deserves starting role, and that's coming from ex-Ajax star. Osimhen fined over traffic offense in Turkey. Murphy set to complete hamburger move. Cena withdraws from US Open World Cup fallout. FIFA bans Paredes, fines Argentina FA. Mbappe, Vinicius, Bellingham are compatible, and that's coming from Mourinho. And lastly, it doesn't look like Joshua will fight. I beg your pardon. It doesn't look like Joshua fight will happen, and that's coming from Fury. And that's all we have on Saturday Tribune this morning. Victor, over to you.
All right, let's fit the nation. What we have on the Nation newspaper this morning, where the story on page 4 says outrage over Atiku's pledge to restore food subsidy. Also on page 3, we have federal government, Borno, working to rescue 44 abducted Musa school children. On page 6, 2027, Wike predicts bigger rainbow coalition for president, says opposition has collapsed. On page 2, PFI PC probe, Tinubu orders arrest of promoter, suspends 3 permanent secretaries, ICPC uncovers fresh scam. Well, let's flip to what we have inside the pages of the Nation newspaper this morning. On page 2, U.S. judge grants FBI request to review Tinubu files in private. Another batch of Nigerians to be evacuated from South Africa next week, says Nikasa, as over 100 await airlift. And Okpelo says, I didn't ban Davido from Edo. Oh, that's interesting. Now, okay, this is a very sad one. Teacher, others arrested for defiling minors in Edo State. This is interesting. A 52-year-old teacher was engaged as a home lesson teacher and
decided to defile the child.
The allegation was a teenage girl who was hired to tutor, and this is interesting. The parents actually had to report. He was arrested. There was also a 29-year-old man who was allegedly having an unlawful sexual intercourse with an 11-year-old girl. And there are more. The girls ranging 11, 14, I'm seeing 11, 14 years of age. This is just sad. This is just, I do not know what goes in their minds thinking about doing all those things with girls underage. I really do not know if they cannot control themselves or do different things. Well, here we are talking about them again. And I think people should really check themselves. And when we see cases like this, it's not just taking them to the, prisons. I think we should run some rehabilitation for their minds, whatever it is, before they finish their prison sentences, because it's just sad when we see cases like this keep occurring again and again.
You think they need rehabilitation?
Aside the,
No, I don't think they do.
the imprisonment.
I don't think they do.
I don't know. I'm just looking for solutions.
I think they just need to examine if they are in their right senses. And in most cases, a lot of people are fine. They just cannot control themselves. So if you know you cannot control yourselves, yes, you will do the time for defiling a minor.
It is there. It is there. On page 5, article's proposal is a recipe for local refineries bankruptcy. That's coming from Dari. Article has rights to reconsider 2023 position full subsidy. And that's reactions to the outrage of article's plan to restore full subsidy. Well, some experts are saying return to old order is injurious to the nation's economy.
I'm sure we are going to talk about that as days unfold, or as there's development to that.
All right, 2027 polls on page 6. INEC plans November mock accreditation to test readiness. And yes, the federal government has declared August 25 public holiday to mark Eid al-Mawlid. Ibamiji meets Tinubu, urges Adeleke to halt attacks on APC members. I thought they would have stopped all of that by now, but here we are. On page 10, it's a round table. Dear governors, now the campaign doors are open. So do what you should do. Okay, Plateau School, where hostel rooms double as toilets. fear of epidemic as roommates vomit, suffer stomach ache. Scholars count losses as dilapidated structures remain abandoned. How do you learn in such an environment? How do you learn? I'm seeing
and that's
the
why
pictures.
we talk about regulation.
The pictures are not speaking of a school. Speaking of... No. Let me just move on to play. We have a special one. Mourinho returns with calm words as Madrid reset begins. Okay, on pages 16 and 17, Raola affirms Liverpool's readiness to compete. Bayern Ali fares over Musiala's on-field collapses. Spurs agree £75 million deal for City's Savinho. And Arsenal complete £51 million deal for Konsa. Omidion demands grassroots overhaul to rebuild women's football. Revealed how Trabzonspor pulled off Salah deal. Maresca unfazed by City exits ahead of a season opener. Dortmund, Bayern renew rivalry with German Super Cup. Oluyemi, AFN adopts age group system to curb age fraud. All right. Interesting stories right there. And Idera, how jobless boys rescued from street life turned Lagos market into killing field. It's a very sad development. On page 19, you might want to read up on that. Okay. On Rave, African China, new generation artists must respect veterans. Okay. Conversations about respect in recent days. And it's been long since I think I might just do some African China tune later on today. On page 22, Davido won the goal clash. Fans debate who owns the final say on duets. Okay. On Nigerian Cultural Festival 2.0, Buga and Muyiwa Demola, others honored in Plymouth. I think I would like to see videos of that and see how this goes on right there. All right, on page 26, why U.S. can't ignore Iran's nuclear program, as a former Israeli government spokesperson, Eilan Levy. And, okay. All North Central for Asiwaju inaugurate state coordinators. Enugu ADC chairman found dead outside his residence. That's quite suspicious. Technocrats upskills 1,000 classroom teachers. Niger Delta fishermen demand release of $1 billion Bunga oil spill indemnity fund. Okay. Ashun, thumbs up for Tinubu, Adeleke, and Heineck. Phone nabbed over murder of 56-year-old man in Anambra. 2027, Southeast RTIFN, it's Anambra for Tinubu, preaches unity and peace in Nigeria, beg your pardon. On page 30, APC unites in Delta South as Ejele withdraws suits against Joel Onowakbo. Oberevori hails Olu of Warriors 5 years of peace and development. And on Sports Extra, Onyedika impresses as Frankfurt open season with record 11-0 win over DFB at the DFB Poker. That's a victory over SC St. Denis. Arsenal cruise past Coventry in flying starts to title defense. Arokodare shines in Conference League victory. Waiwu sent off in shock transsponsor Omulus. Osimhen runs riot as Galatasaray crush Zerumspor away. Murphy for Hamburg Medical, calf snub Super Falcons in WAFCON Best 11. NNL confirms promoted teams ahead of new season. NGO partners Lagos and others for 6th Interpublic Schools Championship. And of course, so there is something concerning the Nigeria Football Federation. On the title of that at the back page of the Nation newspaper is a brainstorm under the can. All right, that's the newspaper review done.
This morning. Yes, it's time for governor's activity. Let's see what the governor was up to during the week. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The Oyo State Acting Governor, Barrister Baolawan, embarked on an assessment tour of key legacy projects in Ibadan, the state capital. He was accompanied by the Commissioner for Public Works and Transport, Abdulmajid Mugbanjubola, and the Executive Advisor to the Governor on New Towns and Cities Development Authority, Mrs. Mufoluke Adebiyi. His first port of call was the Senator Rashidi Ladoja Sakula Road, where he assessed the section stretching from the Abiola Jimobi Technical University, Lagos Ibadan Expressway axis to the Badeku Ife Ibadan Expressway axis. Among the facilities inspected were the toll gates located at the both ends of the completed section, as well as the quality of asphaltic work on the road. Speaking with BCOS News on the road project, the Oyo State Acting Governor, Barrister Lawal, described the Senator Rashidi Ladoja Circular Road as a mega project in the history of the state. He called for greater sensitization and public enlightenment on the project, noting that many residents do not fully understand its size, scope, and economic significance.
The essence is to really let our people know out there that when you talk of circular road in Ibadan, you are talking of mega project that this state has not witnessed in a long, long time. And in fact, I do not know when last, whether in the old Oyo State or the present Oyo State as it is constituted, that a project like this has been done. So it's very gratifying. In fact, for this project to be continuing, we've asked our settlers around the circular road to really report our Ministry of Lands for the purpose of compensation. And the compensation is ongoing for those who have really put their names down, and the locations, and the assurance, deep assurance that the administration is giving is that no inch of land acquired through this project will be left uncompensated.
While urging the public to rely on accurate information rather than false claims, the acting governor dismissed the allegation that the state government is using the circular road project to acquire people's land for personal purposes.
But our people must know that something like this is ongoing around Ibadan. People just hear about a circular road, and then taking that Governor Seyi Makinde is taking our land here and there. I have come to establish the fact that this project is not about taking land of anybody. It's about development of this city. And you have followed me as a journalist. You've seen that there's no personal thing about this project. Neither Governor Seyi Makinde is taking the land, nor anybody else in this administration. So let our people be well assured that the administration is not taking anybody's land.
According to him, the overall circular road project covers about 110 kilometers, which translates to approximately 220 kilometers when the dual carriage configuration is taken into consideration. He expressed confidence that the project will be completed before the end of the present administration. The acting governor also inspected the ongoing construction of the terminal building at the Ladoke Akintola International Airport, Alakia, Ibadan.
Victor.
Well, definitely, it was good to see some of the activities. I think we need to travel right about now. There are some sites we need to see. I think one of that is the Yaki Lake. And of course, after that, I think we'll be doing the interview segment. So we'll talk about our discussion today.
2-hour journey from Ibadan, the state capital, our crew arrived at the ancient town of Adua-Waye, nestled in the heart of Iseyin local government. Our mission was to explore the mystic of the Iyake suspended lake, one of the world's greatest wonders, perched atop Okeado, Ado Hill. As we ascended the 365 ancient stairs, our guide, Ademola Babatunde, regaled us with fascinating tales about the tourist site. While some of us were quite burnt out and panting, the 25-minute climb was punctuated by breathtaking views of the surrounding landscape and the towns below. Our first stop was the unique Ishagi Rock, a massive boulder precariously balanced rock on the hill.
Ishage Boulder has 3 names. We call it Ishage Boulder. We call it Standing Rock. We call it Rainbringer. About the Rainbringer, in the ancient time when people of Adua-Waye were facing the plight of rain droughts, so there were no rain in that time, they came to this rock, they prayed, and the rain fell. That is why they are calling it the Rainbringer. And as you are seeing this rock, if you look under, you will see a lot of spaces under this rock. You will see the way the rock sits majestically, confidently on a flat surface without anybody's support. The Ishage Boulder do request for traditional white clothes, but immediately this cloth is dirty. The cloth will untie itself without anybody's support.
A few minutes later, we arrived at Iyake Suspended Lake, a natural wonder shrouded in mystery. After roughly 25-minute trip from the bottom of the mountain, we finally got in to our destination, which is Iyake Lake, the suspended lake in Oyo State, precisely Iseyin local government. Our guide, Ademola Babatunde, shared various stories and legends surrounding the lake.
There was one woman that was living in Sango, Ogun State, before the woman later migrated back to Oyo. That woman was a barren. The woman did not conceive. So one day they abused the woman that you are a barren, you did not conceive. That woman was so furious. That woman was so sad. That woman came to this mountain, climbed, cried before she jumped inside this lake. That is where the lake got its name, Iyake woman cry. And the woman did not come outside till today. Some people do ask that, I'm very good at swimming. Can I jump inside this lake? I do say that, no, you can't do that. This is lake. It's not flowing like a river. There is no way you can jump inside the lake and you will survive. No way. That is why we don't allow anybody to do that. So this water has a lot of...
The home is under attack, but not for long, because Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains no fit do us shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go wipe.
Germs always find a way back.
No greed. Protect every day with Hypo.
That has a lot of significance. For a child too, or anybody that have maybe any type of ailment in his or her body can make use of this water. And the water is not again induced, the water is drinkable.
Other notable attractions on the hill include Eseawagba, literally translates to footprint of the elders, the verge of death and living rock formation, and the roots of a falling baobab tree. only resembling the head and trunk of an elephant, popularly known as the elephant tree.
Beside the Yake, it's over there. We are going to that place now. We call that one Agbomofun Yake, mysterious portal. It's over there, mysterious portal. According to the history, anybody that put his or her feet inside Agbomofun Yake immediately disappear to this bigger one. And that is the end of that person.
Some tourists who spoke with BCOS News call on the state government to improve the accessibility and relaxation spots within the tourist center, noting that these will enhance the overall experience and generate more revenue for the state.
I've been hearing stories about this place, but now I can really confirm. If there is something called Wonder, I experienced Wonder.
This is where everyone in Oyo State and even Africa would like to come, but it is still lacking accessibility. Not only that, there is a need for the government to get resource areas where, after exploration, people will come and have their leisure, so that they will enjoy themselves after they must have looked around the area.
In an interview with BCOS News, Oyo State Commissioner for Culture and Tourism, Dr. Wasiu Olatubosun, and the Alado of Ado-Awaye, Oba Ademola Olubile, emphasized the economic potential of Iyake Suspended Lake. They urged the people to appreciate their cultural values and promote their cultural heritage.
The state government believes that there is no need for government to be in business. The government is expected to create conducive environment for business to thrive. So, and we have done that. We are now calling on investors so that, because we want to leave a sustainable legacy, so that anybody that will come after us, if it is government, if we invest government resources here, and that government will come and say, I'm not interested. But if it is a businessman who put his money down here, definitely he will not allow the business to die.
Bottomless, tasteless, cultural, spiritual, medicinal, all that you have. Government should rise up to actually invest in the promotion, not only in the promotion, but in the development of this place and turn it to a world-class tourist center.
As we concluded our tour of Iyake Suspended Lake, it was clear that this natural wonder has the potential to become a major tourist destination, boosting the state's economy and promoting its rich cultural heritage. After we've been able to explore the nooks and crannies of this nature, we've been able to see the Iyake Suspended Lake located on Ado Mountain in Isheyin local government of Oyo State. From Oke Ado, Isheyin local government, Oyo State, Samuel Adigo behind the camera. I am Olalekan Sulaiman, reporting for Saturday Special.
Under attack, but not for long, cause Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains no fit do us shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No greed. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go hypo.
Indeed. All right, that was an interesting travelogue, by the way, talking of Iyake Lake. And now we will be heading straight to what we have for you this morning. Of course, you know Saturday special is always Saturday with the conversations we bring for you and how interesting those conversations are. And this morning we'll be talking about religiously motivated violence, confronting intolerance, protecting lives. Today is actually the day of celebration that's observing the day. It's observed annually, August 27 and 22nd, I beg your pardon. To give a back story or just a brief introduction so you can understand better what we will be talking about this morning. As the world marks the International Day commemorating the victims of acts of violence based on religion or belief on August 22, attention is once again drawn to the devastating consequences of religious intolerance, persecution, and violence in Nigeria, where Christians, Muslims, and people of other beliefs coexist. Attacks on worshippers, places of worship, and religious communities remain a major concern. While not every violent conflict is religiously motivated, religion can sometimes become a factor that deepens existing political, ethnic, communal, or security tensions. The observance, therefore, presents an opportunity to examine the causes of religiously motivated violence, its impact on victims and communities, and what governments, religious leaders, security agencies, and citizens can do to prevent further loss of lives. To do justice to this conversation this morning, I mean, you will agree with me that it's an interesting conversation, but a delicate one at that also, when we talk about religion. To do justice, we have an expert. Of course, we have experts in sociology of religion and peace and conflict studies, Professor Jacob Anyotayo. Prof, good morning, sir.
Thank you so much.
It's good to have you. We also have the Executive Secretary of MUSWEN, Professor Wale Abbas. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning.
It's good to have you this morning.
Thank you very much.
Prof, let's start with Professor Anyotayo. When we talk about religiously motivated violence, confronting intolerance, protecting lives. Now, there must have been a reason why this day was set aside by the United Nations. Initially it was even May 19, but eventually moved to August 22. Why was this day set aside to be observed annually?
Thank you so much, and I want to appreciate you for bringing us here, for bringing experts to discuss this. And I wish the people at home will listen to us and see what they can generate out of it. So I want to give kudos to whoever has said this day aside to remember the victims of religious violence. Yeah, religion is, like I have said, is a very delicate thing. And all of us, we are religious consciously and unconsciously. So on that account, everybody anywhere in the world belongs to one religious faith or the other. And therefore, religion is such a thing that people are ready to live for, and they realize they are ready to die for it. So, and on that account, we are seeing a lot of contestation for space among religious practitioners, particularly among the major religions in Nigeria, particularly Christianity and Islam. Traditional religion have been there before the two religions came on board, and the two religions, they are foreign religion, foreign in the sense that they are not part of our culture. And I want to say quickly that religion is a product of culture. It's emanated from the culture of the people. That's why whatever you see in the Bible and Quran, they are a reflection of the culture where they come from. And that is why, for example, Islam from Arabia area, that's why Muslims still go to Mecca, where they have the full understanding of what that religion is all about. And Christians, a few of them can go to Jerusalem as well. What I'm saying, they are foreign religion, they are rooted in the culture of the people. But however, we have seen a lot of violence in the same time, becoming more escalating on a daily basis because we are getting it wrong. It wasn't like this in the past. There was religious tolerance in the past. All of us, to the women of God here, we are a product of religious tolerance. And Christian and Muslims were able to live together do a lot of things together.
Prof, talking of that religious tolerance, you said we had it in the past.
Yeah, we had it in the past.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure history will agree with that, but let's take this commercial break, and when we return, we'll talk more on that, we'll expatiate on that. Stay with us.
Wetin call car dey do inside freezer? E dey take breeze. You dey learn work? You no hear say if you freeze am, e go dey reach small small. See this one.
The home is under attack, but not for long, because Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains no fit do us shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go wipe.
Germs always find a way back.
No greed. Protect every day with Hypo.
All right, thank you very much for staying with us. We're still talking about religiously motivated violence, confronting intolerance, and protecting lives. Before we went on that commercial break, Professor Anyotayo talked about how we used to tolerate one another in those days. And I was saying, looking back memory lane, I'm not sure it was that way also. We had cases. Before we start talking about dates and, Prof, would you want to continue on that note?
Yeah, it depends on where in what context are we looking at it. For the purpose of now, I think we should domesticate into situation in Nigeria. So I know we have a lot of, issue of persecution in Christianity. There's a particular, I just have sort of it now. So we have all this persecution. Persecution have been there all along. But let's come to our country here so that our people at home can gain a lot. In the past, like I said, the four religion that we are born to is traditional religion. We are born to it. And up to today, even we are Christian and Muslim today, it's still reflecting in our names. I'm Anyatayo. My guy here is Wole. That's the traditional name. That is, it's called a Muslim. Now, so traditional religion have been there all along. Later, Christianity and Islam came. And when Christianity and Islam came, people gave them land to build their mosques and churches. I remember my village, churches, Christianity came before Islam in my village, and they were given land at the outskirts of the town. So while the town was growing, we were building houses after the church center. But however, there was a signboard in front of the church saying Dakailu Atiariwu, stop drumming, stop singing. So in those days when people are dancing around, the Gumvos are dancing around the town. When you get to the church, even the mosque, they keep their drum and
keep it low.
They stop it completely and carry it, and so that no noise was made.
And why was that so?
Because they respected the church and the mosque, and they passed quietly before they begin to sing. So even the mosque, when during the Egun festival, if a mosque is running after you, once you run to the compound of the mosque, you go back, or compound of the school or the church, you don't go back.
Okay.
And that was what was going on at that time. So and there was unity the time the day. After a while, religion become a commercial thing. And people begin to contest for space. Christian and Muslim are contesting for space. Even within Christianity and Islam, people are contesting for space. On that account, there was a proliferation all over. And people are teaching it anyway, that way, and they have to now begin to go away along the line. So that's why we are where we are today. And even we have what we call intra-religious violence. Even in Islam, we still have some verbal violence.
Among
We will
different
have to
sects.
come to
Yeah, we'll
that.
come to that
And
too.
even
So,
speaking of the commercialization
I
of
was
religion.
going to actually ask from Professor Wole Abbas now, because I'm looking at the proliferation of religion coming from some parts of the world to some other parts of the world. According to what we read in our history books, there were wars, there were, what do they call them now? Those movements where, we had ships coming in to the shores of a certain nation and then, disrupting the activities and all of that. How did that translate into what we have right about now in present day?
Well, thank you very much. I join Professor Anyotayo in thanking BCOS for organizing things like this. But as a Muslim, the religion of Islam
is a very unique one. Throughout the world, it's a religion that is mostly misunderstood. It is misunderstood in the sense that it's not just a religion, it's a way of life. And we look at it from those perspectives. A religion, your communication, the communication between you and your creator. Then your activities with other people. The two go together. Yoruba people will tell you that Iwa lesson. In Islam, yes, it was just part of it, 50%. Essence, 50%. Someone who created you. The understanding of Islam is that there's someone who created you. Whether you are from anywhere of the world you may come from. You have the consciousness of that, the fact that someone has created you. If you have that consciousness, you have to pay something to that person. In this time around, in terms of worship. So even if, like Yoruba people will say that life starts from Ile-Ife, to Islam, to Muslims, that is not true. We have read how God started to create human being. And what was the instruction given to that human being? Worship me. Because God takes care of all of us. As we sit down now, all of us here, if something happens to me now and I fall down, oh God, you'll be calling Jesus, or you'll be calling Allah, and so on. That consciousness will come. Why don't we worship, why don't we realize that person, that being, and worship him? So, to Muslims, it's God has given human being the task that you are going to the world, I'm bringing you up, worship me. Now, as I said, misunderstood in the sense that people have created some myth to each tribe, each culture, and they say, like Prof said, these are foreign religions, Christianity and Islam. To me, it's not. To an average Muslim, to very understanding Muslim, Christianity, Jewish religion, everything comes from God.
Okay. Sorry, to butt in on what you just said now. When you said misunderstood then, and then you now said to an understanding Muslim, is it that there are also Muslims who also misunderstand the Islam?
Not every Muslim understands Islam now.
Oh.
But what you are saying is that
I think that's the intra-religious violence conflict.
To know Muslims, Muslims they don't understand Islam.
To non-Muslims?
Non-Muslims don't understand Islam.
Okay.
And you see, all these religions have their books, and you test them, you understand them by the book they profess. That is their testament. Yes, if you want to know about Islam, you have to understand the Quran. If you want to understand Christianity, read the Bible very well.
Not what you hear.
Not hearsay. You see, a lot of people that cause this violence we are talking about, if you go deep inside, they are not fighting for religion.
What are they?
It's another something until you understand that. For example, violence in this part of the country, if you have followed it keenly, you will discover that many a time when anything happens, Fulani people. At the end of the day, when they arrest people, they are Yoruba people. Insincerity is causing all this. Insincerity.
So it's not religion.
It's not religion.
Primary cause.
You saw what happens at Oriri. Go deep. Study the same. Follow it. You discover that it is not what they say about the cause. It is not. We better in this country be sincere with ourselves. Go deep down into the cause. Arrest those who are the masterminds. To the best of Islam does not preach violence at all.
All right.
That's why when you show to me in the Quran that this is an area that says you'll be killing people.
Prof, you know, when we start these arguments, all religion would definitely say the same thing, that their religion does not preach violence. And of course, no religion should preach violence. Now, Professor Anyotayo, let's take it back to when you're talking, during your introduction. You mentioned intra-religious violence.
Yeah.
We see that happen a lot. Muslims pitching against themselves, Christians pitching against themselves, traditional worshippers pitching against themselves. Now, how are we understand religion should be sacred.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, when Christianity was brought to your hometown, it was at the outskirts. It was built at the outskirts. And then houses were development grew to meet the church where it is. It was a sacred, religion should be sacred. How are we gotten ourselves to the point where, and that's before we come to the issue of Nigeria now,
Yeah.
how have we gotten to a point where we fight ourselves? Even the same, people of the same belief, people of the same religion.
Yeah, thank you so much. When I say religion is when I say Christianity and some are foreign religions, I mean foreign in the sense that they are not part of our culture. Religion is a cultural thing. It came from the culture of the people. Culture is the way of life, the way we live our life. Our understanding of our nature, our attempt to provide answer and solution to issue bothering us on a daily basis. We are seeing moonlight, we see sunlight, we did daylight. Who is responsible for this? I think it will be God. We begin to base there's God. And African group to know there's was always called God. And they have that belief system. And all what we see about religion is about the culture of the people. So, and Islam too is a cultural religion. It came from the Arabian country. We see everything we see in the Quran there. It's about the environment or where religion is coming from. Everything we see in the Christianity is coming from the culture of Christianity. It's about the Bible, talk about mustard seed, all those things. They are part of the culture of the people. Religion is a cultural thing. And let me say this so that we can understand better. What is called religion has 4 characteristics. I will do that quickly. And that is creed. Everything called religion has what is called creed. Creed refers to fundamental belief system that distinguishes one religion from the other. For example, when you say Trinity, we are talking about Christianity. When you talk about 5 pillars of that is Islam already. We're talking about divinity, that's traditional religion. That is creed. You only have code, C-O-D-E. Code refers to rules and regulations guiding man and man relationship. In Islam, we have the Hadith, we have the Quran. Talk about what to do and what not to do. About what God wants from us and what we should do to one another. In traditional religion, Christianity, we have the Bible, we have your tradition. In traditional religion, we have folk tales, proverbs, and co. Tell us what to do and what to do. The third one is cultic. Cult, C-A-U-T. Anything called religion is cultic. Cultic has to do with it's a congregational thing. It's not done by an individual. It's done by individuals. So people come together in the name of who practice Islam. They are called Muslims. Those who come together to practice Christian, they are called Christians. Those who come together to practice, they are called traditionalists. That is, it's a group thing. That's it. The other one is communion. Anything called religion has to do with communication between God and man. We communicate God through prayer, fasting, singing, dancing, all those stuff. Those are the 4 characteristics of religion. Now, it was when Christianity and Islam came, that's the beginning of the trouble. So when Christianity and Islam came, they came to rubbish traditional religion to say that they are superior to traditional religion. If you look at the history of religion, traditional religion has been there in history historically. Later Christianity came, and Christianity was condemned traditional religion. Well, what do you kind of only Lord and Savior, blah blah. We call it truth claim. The Bible says nobody can get to the Father except through the Son, Jesus Christ. So other religion is rubbish. So I know that Islam came. When Islam came, then you call it say no. There's no other way than to go down to true prophet of Muhammad. This will not be unto him. So that leads to what we call truth claim. The question, the logic is this. Are we saying God had not been talking to people before traditional religion, before Christianity came, of Christianity and Islam? So, but the element of faith, which is very funny, because I've been studying religion for many years now. When you open the Yoruba Bible today, or the Quran Bible today, Yoruba Quran today as an example, you're going to see the word Olorun, or Olodumare, which is equivalent to Allah in Arabic, or Yahweh in the Bible. So the question is that who put the word Olorun the mouth of traditional people. It has been all along. But when some Westerners came, they came to say nothing African or Tutu African cannot have the idea of God. So that problem started at that level. One religion we see to one superior to the other. Now, the other thing raised by Apostle Malga here, and there's one problem in all the religions. One, the religious leaders, majority of them are theologically illiterate. With due respect, what I mean by that, they don't understand what the Quran is talking about, what the Bible is talking about. And then they don't have knowledge of history. Do you know a mystery? A mystery. My dad can Costa is a professor of Islamic study. In mystery, Prophet Muhammad, peace and be unto him, when he was fighting for the cause of Islam, and people in his community don't understand him. You know that what he was talking about? He sought asylum with the king of Lagos, Abyssinia, who accommodated him. At the same time, Prophet Muhammad, peace and be unto him, signed treaty with some Christians, protect their interests. They were cordial together. They were very cordial related together. But today, Christians and Muslims are coming to say, my religion is the best, your religion is the best. And anyhow they are in trouble today. In Christianity today, we have intra-violence there, verbal violence. We are seeing some people coming, condemning some of the teaching of pastors. Today, I have a lot of them, more than 50 of them on my phone now. In Islam today, there's some other trouble there now. The trouble that some people are emphasizing much more on hadith, even than the Quran. So today, Christians and Muslims are not even seeing Islam the same way. Christians are not seeing Christian the same way. Why? Because of poor knowledge of the Quran and the Bible. And that is a product of indoctrination. That's the problem. The Muslims we are talking about, Muslims in refined association trying to bring light to understanding of Islam. Or how many people understand that? So the trouble with us is, one, is religious ignorance. And finally, we have not had the opportunity to say that now today, there's a strong contestation for space because it become a commercial thing. Both Christians and Muslims are worried about proliferation of churches and mosques. I want to stop very soon. In the past, sir, because I took advantage of that, in the past we have few mosques and their community. And people are all right. But today, go to every street now. Many mosques are emerging. In fact, it was church that had that more problem in the past. We have so many churches, even if there's building churches all over. And we have few mosques. But today, mosques are growing up on a daily basis. Proliferation. And they are teaching different things. So that problem, all these are product of ignorance on the part of religious practitioners. There's a difference between religious beliefs and religious practice. Religious belief is intact, but the practices vary from one person to the other. That's why we are where we are today. That's why a few organizations are coming on board now. This was an example. I was at with camp about 3 months ago. What the events of Muslim to ensure that this Islam now, because Islam is being misunderstood today by non-Muslim. Christianity is being misunderstood today among Christians too. And can you imagine people who don't understand this whole religion? If you now condemn Christians who don't understand Christianity very well, they will go to condemn Islam. Muslims don't understand Islam very well, they don't condemn Christianity. That's why we have this violence.
But I mean, when we look at people practicing it based on what they understand, people cannot do beyond their understanding. They cannot practice the religion beyond their understanding. So are we saying it is the way they understand it, that's the way they are practicing?
Sorry, sir. It's the leaders that has caused this problem for us.
And even to the leaders. Because now we are talking about intra-religious violence, and a lot of these followers are listening to their leaders. And I know you mentioned theology, which is also a very good point, because a lot of people do not study in depth. But sometimes we realize that even when they've studied, when you hear two religious people argue, those who have gone to theology school, and they argue sometimes, and then you ask, have they not read the same Bible? Have they not read the same Quran? But the level of understanding is different. Now, when we have two people who have gone to the same school of, who have passed through the same school of thought, but have different understanding. Now, how do they make sure, or who draws the line between what they are impacting into their members? Prof?
I want to disagree a bit. It's sincerity. When you emphasize understanding too much, to a large extent they understand. I mentioned the other time that they have commercialized the thing. When you commercialize religion, in commercial activities, anything goes. Anything goes.
Even if it's not what the religion is saying.
No, you see, let me tell you, there's this argument in the space now, currently, that about tithe or no tithe. Some Christians believe that you must pay tithe. And I know of a bishop who said if you don't pay tithe, you become poor. And there is a leader now, among the Christians, who said now that we are sorry, we didn't know tithe is not compulsory. I mean, instead of intra-Christian problem, inter-Islamic problem. But to those who study religion very well, you will see that some they understand, but they are hypocrites because of what they will eat, what they will get from there. In the past, in my village, during the Ilia festival, the Christians will follow us to eat. They will stay back and we return home together. When we were young, during Christmas and Easter, we go to Christian house. There we will eat rice. Rice was not a stable food, but during Christmas and Easter, it is then that sure we belong to get to Easter. We do things together. Muslims will slaughter rams. Anytime Christians want to slaughter cock or so whatever, they call Muslims. They are so interactive. You are here. When I became a student, undergraduate student in 1977, there was this newspaper vendor. He's still there now. That man was so young at that time. He would carry the papers. He would drop one at the entrance of Faculty of Arts. He would go to our other spaces. He would be dropping. People would buy them, put money. At the time, we come back to take the rest and the money. Nobody will steal that money. That's why we are not talking of religion in that perspective, but we are talking, it is religion. So people are sincere, people are truthful. Can we do that now? The man is now concentrated in a place, in rural. He will be watching you even there. While they will be watching whether you dodge a paper or not. We have moved from sincere level to insincerity because of what we want to have in life. Okay, so if as we are talking, religion emphasizes sincerity, truthfulness, everything. It is that we lack now. That's the problem.
Now, Prof, let me stick with you now. So, speaking about this from a sincere angle, what exactly causes religiously motivated violence? What exactly springs it up? What are the thin lines that we need to understand about it?
Yes, there are factors. Number one, leaders are not sincere. They have other motives unknown to the congregation. It's commercial thing. Then everybody is conscious of money, position. And when that happens, you get it through any means possible. These are two factors original factors that are causing problem. In those days, preachers, leaders of religion, they didn't value money, they didn't value life. What concerned them was how to get to heaven, how to live a good life. They'll be counseling people. This is the right thing, this is the right thing. Nowadays, what are they teaching? Everybody wants to ride, to have a jet. Everybody wants to ride good vehicles and so on. And when that happens, they get it through all means possible. That is the cause. For that religion, what about our boys nowadays? As teachers in the university, we will see students having sophisticated phones in the class, 3, 2. Whereas the teacher has 1. And such a student, what we expect of that student who wants to ride jeep before he or she finishes. That's the problem. So when a person like that, an undergraduate, when he graduates, what can he not do? What can he not attempt to do? That's the problem. So if the religious people are upright, they will be in the position to be curbing them. But the congregation too, they see they understand, they see the leaders, what they do. So whatever they tell them now is of no effect.
All right, Prof, let's look at that word religious violence. I know we said so much about it, but maybe we should break it down for better understanding, because we think, is it just by killing other people of different religion? Is it by verbal pronunciation? What exactly is that religious violence?
Religious violence is characterized by verbal violence and physical violence. Verbal in terms of speaking evil, then degrading other religion. So that is the verbal. Then the physical is destruction of property here and there. You see, what really happens is that everything goes back to religious leaders. The teaching of religious leaders today is very alarming and very complicated. I did a book recently to mark my sister's birthday, and I have 10 chapters which I call religiously motivated conflict. Religiously motivated conflict, social conflict, political conflict, economic conflict, religious conflict. So one of the troubles today is very common in the north, when one religion wants to eliminate other religion. That is, a religion wants to say other religions should not exist. It happened maybe somewhere in London now, when a particular religious group went to destroy the shrine of a traditionalist. Now, it's very common today now that some of these foreign religions, they want to eliminate existing religion. In some climb where Islam has upper hand, they want to eliminate both Christianity and traditional religion. Or where Christianity has upper hand, they want to eliminate traditional religion and Islam. On that account, they begin to teach certain things that come in the form of verbal violence. For example, I have a catalog of this in my research book, and I teach them. There was a time when a particular Muslim says Muslims should not eat Christian food on Christmas time. It's very great Muslim. You know, Christians say happy Easter. And they hear, you have it, almost not have seen it. So I will say, don't have Christian to do this or that. When a Christian invites you to do a work for him, don't go and do that. And they begin to escalate to a level to some Christian too. I experienced that one. They said, when I was in those days, around 1990s, I went to one fellowship, they said, Muslims are doing to celebrating their Salah, that we want you not to hit the alarm. And I said, why? We are living in the community where Muslims are very close to us, and they keep the alarm. Innocently, they brought alarm to us. And somebody says, no, it. I say, you are crazy. I will eat it because they are doing that out of good heart. Now, Christian is interpreting the instruction of Islam as idolatry. I say, what is your problem? What do you know about Islam? People don't know about Islam, that they won't condemn Islam. People don't know about Christianity. So, in that way, I think that the problem we have today is very rampant in the north. And it's come to the southwest now, whereby we're going to eliminate one religion against the other. It can never happen. Because religion is something that people are ready to live for and to die for the Indian rights.
Right. Prof, we have a commercial break, and when we return, we'll continue on that note. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
The home is under attack, but not for long, because Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Every day with Hypo. Dirty and stains, no video shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go Hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No greed. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go Hypo.
All right, thank you very much for staying with us. Before we went on that break, Professor Anyotayo was talking about religion and humanity and how some Christians pitching Christians against Muslims and Muslims. And you mentioned that it's gradually from the north, it's gradually coming to the south.
Let me tell you what happened now. I'm going to testify to that. I have a lot. I'm more than every day. I'm more than 10 every day. I'll be posting. So now look at that trend that's going in Islam now. That's so funny. Very strange thing. Some are saying that you should not prostrate to your father anymore, because doing that is tantamount to idolatry. That is within Islam.
No,
And
it
people
feels like some of these teachings is actually
and
eroding some of our trust.
Exactly. Like I said here, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings unto him, had treaty, that were in covenant with that had treaty and accommodated some Christian in the setting. They were doing things together. If you look at the Quran example, there are cases in the Quran, verses in the Quran that say, oh, don't fight unbelievers. Leave the people, you can fight unbelievers except people of the book and the Jews, the Christian and the Jews. Are you following me? And in Islam, the Islam say there's no compulsion in religion. That if God wanted to do practice one religion, he had the capacity to make it one. And let me clearly say this quickly, that religion today, we are Christian today and Muslim today by imposition. That will look strange and looks too harsh. What meant by imposition? One, we are first of all born human beings. Before the 8th day, some people gather themselves together in the name of Nimi and call me Jacob and call my Aga Abbas with due respect to my Aga. My Aga would have been a Christian if his father is a Christian. I would have been a Muslim if my father is a Muslim. And from the beginning, that's where the trouble starts now. From the beginning, each of them is speaking to his child that, come, this Christianity is the best religion. When they say, now, I disagree. They say Christianity is a way of life. When they say that in the church, I laugh at the pastor. And my God say Islam is a way of life. It can't be a way of life for anybody. Christian cannot be a way of life for anybody. One, there's no Christian way of sitting down. There's no Christian way of laughing. But like your guy say, hypocrisy all over. Now, and I like the people like Akim Bagod today. Who cares where you buy your petrol? I want to buy petrol. Or my wife is pregnant, you take my wife to the hospital. Say, hey, before you attend to me, are you a Christian or Muslim? Never ask that question. We are first of all human beings before somebody label religion on us today. And from the beginning, they started indoctrinating their children. Christians don't don't talk about Muslims, Muslims don't know. It's the only way of life. It can't be way of life because we live together. I was saying this in recent times. In the past, in my church, women sit together differently, men sit differently. I think the mosque, I think the same story. But it can only work only in the mosque. It can only work in the church. Now we are together here. We enter the play in schools. Our women have come of age. We cannot ignore women. We cannot ignore children. These are the realities of today. So anytime I say Islam is a way of life, we are ruled by constitution. We are ruled by rules and regulation, not by religious law. Under normal situation, it will be a private matter. And if you want to be clear about your religion, demonstrate it. Let us see you doing it.
It brings me to the conversation around some things that we've seen up north a number of times, and that's allegations of blasphemy. And I want both of you to answer, starting with you first, sir. Are these allegations enough to justify the violence that comes with it?
Thank you so much. Yeah, even this blasphemy you're talking about, people are taken out of context. I can't quote directly, I've divided before. Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, he was a very peaceful man. Even many people insulted him while he was alive. Today, if you saw Prophet Muhammad today, people are ready to kill you. And they begin to make reference to the Quran, which is not true. Prophet Muhammad fought a strong war to establish Islam. He was molested, but he kept calm, strong. Today, he was able to establish Islam. If he was gone back, many people insulted him without asking anybody to kill him. But today, people are quoting the Quran out of context to kill people who mentioned Prophet Muhammad in the blasphemous way. There are people who have been killed because they told Quran. These are not original Muslims. They are not original Muslims. They are quoting the Quran out of context. Sorry, sir. And even the Bible as well. Like you said, the words go on. We see, we call it interpretation, hermeneutics. The major problem has the issue of hermeneutics. Unfortunately, the Bible and the Quran, they are very porous. I'm sorry to say, they are porous. You want to be a drunkard, you can see it in the Bible. You want to ignore anything, something happened and I stop now. Oh my God, can witness that. Look at one simple example that people misquote in the Quran. Very funny thing. The Quran says you can marry more than one wife, provided you can take care of. You can marry 2, you can marry 3, you can marry 4. Provided you can. But if you cannot take care of them, there will be penalty for that. It's stated like that in the Quran. I was going to Lagos one day, One guy was selling a Islamic materials, all this. I was asking one lady, but they said, I don't have money now. And I pray. Okay, if you don't have money, I pray for you. I pray you have a good husband, and your husband will be rich enough to marry up to 9. I said, how would you say? I said, the Quran says you shall marry 9 wives. I said, how come? He said, 2, 3, 4. He had all this together making 9. Unfortunately for the man, there was a man in front of the car who's a good Muslim who was landed in Arabic. Now, he said, no, we are telling you that you are putting the Quran out of context. He now explained 2, 3, 4. Not that 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. Many people are interpreting the Quran out of context. This is blasphemy we are talking about. Prophet Muhammad did not kill anybody who insulted him. Christ was insulted. But what I will now say is that it boils down to the people of the issue of misinterpretation of the Quran.
And I think people. I want Professor Abbas, because let's look at, in 2022, the issue of Deborah Samuel. She was killed in Sokoto State. A Christian student at Shehu Shagari College of Education was killed by fellow students after being accused of blasphemy. And of course, it was a Muslim co-student that killed her. And I remember vividly that particular year. It generated a lot of argument. In fact, those students were also said to, a lot of people called for the prosecution of those students, but till date, we never heard anything. Now, Prof, when we talk about blasphemy, especially in Islam, what exactly is it? And is it what we are currently saying blasphemy is, that it is in the Quran?
I said something at the beginning. If you don't, like I cannot say I'm an expert in the Bible. I cannot venture into talking about the Bible, the religion of Christianity, except I ask. When you take isolated cases, it's very dangerous for us in the country. I've never heard of a woman, a Muslim in the East, who was killed by the child. I've never heard that one. So you see, when people escalate a thing, all of us in the country, or in a particular locality, cannot behave the same way.
Well, before you continue, no, we have a commercial break. Before you continue on that note, let's come back. We'll have to come back on this conversation after this commercial break. Stay with us. So.
Under attack, but not for long, cause Hypo is here. Dirty floors and surfaces.
Not on our watch.
Dirty and stains no fit do us shakara. We got the remedy, original palasa. Hypo, go hypo.
Germs always find a way back.
No green. Protect every day with Hypo.
Hypo, go hypo.
Staying with us, they're still talking about the issue of blasphemy in religion. How was it said from the holy books?
You see,
how is it that we are now executing it?
Yes, you see, we don't understand the words of God. We all pontificate as we want, except we go back to references in the Quran and the Bible. Do it this way, do it that way. In the Quran, God quoted the other time, chapter 2, there is no compulsion in religion. Islam does not say you must take to it. Everybody must take to it. If you want, you take to it. If it pleases you. You have Christians who take to Islam. You have Muslims who take to Christianity. You have idolaters who take to Islam. If they read about it and they like it, there are a lot of scientists.
Nobody like that.
If we have a lot of scientists, not because of a thing that interests, for example, what's the name of this man? Not because of what happened to Pharaoh's body in Egypt. He visited Egypt long ago. He was a doctor of anatomy, and he saw the preservation of that body. And they pointed to the Quran, what happened, what God promised in chapter 10, verse 92. And because of that, he became a Muslim. So like that. Everybody has a right to take whatever he wants. That's why the Quran says, La ikraha fi-d-din. There is no compulsion. Everybody wants to come. But then there's another place in the Quran that he quoted the other time. There are different religions God has created. If God has made, He will have made all of us Christians, all of us Muslims, or all of us traditionalists. What is traditionalist? What is traditionalist? We Muslims don't. This is where we differ. Muslims don't believe that religion is culture. There's culture in religion. Religion is the totality of the thing. There's culture in it. That's what you be told. If I am a Yoruba person, that I am, and someone wants to tell me that I must be a traditionalist, why?
But Prof, looking at what, still on that traditionalist issue, when Prof was talking about it, he mentioned that Christianity met traditional belief. Islam also met traditionalists. So now, why does it look like we are throwing away our traditional belief and embracing the foreign religion like
what is foreign? Foreign in quotes. What is foreign?
Yeah, that was why I said foreign.
Foreign in quotes. You see, my dad is a traditionalist by act. He's a Christian. Yeah, he's a Christian, but when he talks, if you look at his inaugural lecture, I was afraid of that we will kill you in the city center. He demolished Christianity that he professed.
I'm not demolished. I just quoted
what I'm saying is that why do we want to force people to be traditionalists? That's why Islam has come clear that no compulsion. If you read any book and believe in it, don't you have the independence to take to what you want? And the belief of Muslims is that this is a temporary place. What you will become here at the end there is what you are prepared for. Here, I'm coming.
Okay,
I'm coming. Let me learn.
To Garland.
If you want to force people that you are the people, you must take to. What can I take to in Yoruba culture? If Sango was a very bad person in life, and when he died, he became object of a worship. Is that logical? Is that sensible? To some people, it's sensible. To me, it's not. If someone was bad, and we come back after his death to worship him, if that is a religion, can't we out? So what we are saying is that there's a common denominator. Someone created all of us. Why don't we pursue that one? Prof, it's a book that created the Yoruba people?
Now, Prof, in that same line of thought that you are expressing, how do we protect that freedom of religion you are speaking about while, trying to run away from extremism? It emanates from a lack of understanding and hypocrisy of the leaders. So how do we protect the... You see, when we talk of North persecuting the South, it depends on what happened. To Muslims, Christianity is cheating them. To Christians, Islam is cheating them. For example, somewhere I watched on the television yesterday, one of the Christian leaders, one of the Muslim leaders in the North, who was saying that some political leaders are now quarreling about Muslim tickets. He said, why do you cause problems for the politicians and for the rest of the people? When Awolowo contested, he was saying it, I'm putting it. When Awolowo contested in 1979, Omeadi from the East, a Christian, was his running mate. There was no use and Christ by the Muslims. Why they cry now? Unfortunately, the government has instituted something during our Obasanjo regime, NIREC, Nigerian Religious Council, that Muslims and Christians of equal number should come together and be deliberating to solve this problem. Unfortunately, they are causing problem. The body that is to solve problem is causing problem. Before the election in 2023, someone rules at their meeting that we must condemn Muslim ticket. And the Sultan said, are we a political body?
They take that thing to that one. Leave the thing to the politicians. Why the body that is to correct them? Why do you join them? So that's why I say hypocrisy. To religionists, leave everybody to profess what he wants, he or she wants. Let him do it well. Let him be sincere about it. Sincerity at that time. May I tell you that in Mecca, when the prophet started, they were all idol worshippers. If you say it is a cultural thing, no. They were all idol worshippers. And it was traditionally, they had idols. Traditionalists. If you take that as the tradition, the idols, it came at a time.
But you also agree, Prof, that it was some people's tradition at that point in time.
Practices.
Their practices.
To worship
Prof, we all have, like you mentioned, we all have what and who we believe in.
Let me have some clarification.
Let me land. I'm trying to correct one notion that if I'm a Yoruba person, I'm born into Arabian people who are born into, let me use your word, traditional
practices, yes.
Okay.
Religion, yes.
Yes. When Muhammad came, it was on the basis of that they were persecuting him. He had to flee to Abyssinia, like he said. They followed him
by Christians.
He flee to Medina again. Before he was that. Mecca was his abode. Parents are abode. They sent him away by force. And he established what was Islam now. If you go to Mecca today, if you go to Saudi Arabia today, you hardly get anybody who is not a Muslim. Why don't you find them that you are forgetting your tradition? If tradition is a religion, it means that religion cannot fester for a long time. If tradition is our religion here, and we have plenty of Muslims and Christians, what is the percentage of your so-called traditionalists now? It means it cannot fester.
No,
let me suggest a bit.
Okay, please go ahead.
For the sake of before I turn. One, the problem started with what you call bias. When the Westerner came, they reduced traditional religion to paganism, idolatry. There's no any pagan in the world. There's no any idolaters in the world. It's the idolaters, and I will explain to you now. When they came, they said, oh, it's paganism. They even say, I can untutor African has an idea of a god. Now, what is an idol? Let me tell you today, every religion has an idol. Christianity, Islam, traditional religion. What is an idol? An idol is an image that gives a picture of a religion. But when you turn the totality of worship to that idol, it becomes idolatry. Let's take note of that. From the beginning, before Islam came at all, the Westerners, they are the one that started this problem.
Islam came before the Westerners. Islam came to Nigeria. Before Christianity, before the Westerners.
Let me answer. When Westerners came, they are the one that condemned traditional religion. They said it is idolatry, it's paganism, it's animism. When they came to study, when they came to Africa, they debunked African traditional religion as festus.
All across.
They are the Western scholars. Okay. And they now later they brought the idea of their own God, Christianity and Islam. Now, as I say, traditional religion is a religion that we are born into today, and I challenge both Christian and Muslim today. If you open the Bible today, you are going to see Olorun there. Which is the word that
is the translation.
That's what I'm saying. Which means the question is that the word are being the master of the people. The word are being the master of the people before they brought Christianity and Islam.
So they used the word to identify the supreme being.
They are supreme being. And now let me tell you again, it can be verified. There was no any court, any images made for God as an individual. They have divinities. And if you see that, you cannot get to the God except you pass through divinity. Do you know today, like I said, I heard you, today, because of that mentality that African carries along, we have turned our imam, our pastor to many divinities, consciously or unconsciously. We call it deification theory. I follow me. Now, what Oga was saying, what I'm saying is that traditional religion is a religion. And we're all born into it. Even my guy is here, is Wale. The word Wale means we can track his family. As you see, our grandma, everybody has Urike here. We know where everybody comes from. That's our culture. That's where we're coming from. Like he said, when Christianity came and Islam came, everybody was doing things together now. It was not an issue. So I go to Professor Wale's house to go and eat. Professor Wale is related to me by blood, not religion. Religion was not an issue then. But later in the day, when religion want to impose, but the Christianity and Islam want to impose on traditional religion and condemn it, but they have lost anyway because traditional religion is coming on board. Yesterday, a day before, we have this day, which was not there before. Now, but today, even in Islam today, we have proliferation. Can you imagine? Oga will testify. I have a lot of them today. The list of Islamic people are saying, don't take photograph. It's a sin to take photograph. It's a sin to sit down to eat. Many teachings are coming to Islam today that are very strange to Islam.
But sometimes we realize they contrast it with some Quranic. We've also heard instances where Muslims will say they don't listen to certain music. They don't sing.
Even music was never part of Islam before. But today we are Africans. We have a lot of Muslim singers today who are singing, evangelizing Prophet Muhammad, peace be honored to him, to evangelize and to talk about the essence of Islam, what it stands for. That's part of our culture.
All right,
now, that is why today, a modern Muslim, we see Southern Muslim not as a strong Muslim. The word pagan, the word to a Christian, traditionalist is a pagan. Muslim is a pagan. To a Muslim, Christians and then they are pagans. Are you following me? So everybody is trying to say is the owner of it cannot just stand like that. And I want to say quickly that this idea, our freedom is taken too far in this country. And I want to say this for the public to know. Now, I don't know where we are going to wind up. I want to say, let everybody go back home. Muslim, my guy says Muslim. What's Muslim doing? Muslim, if you look, Muslim is trying to sanitize Islam. Hypothetically, I may be wrong. Khan is trying to sanitize Christianity. PFN. Now, there's so much freedom everywhere today. There's so much interpretation of the Quran and the Bible today, in-house and outside the house. Now, the Narek of Mayoga said, you have Narek constituting Christian and Muslim. What happened to traditionalists? We call it social exclusion. And let me tell you today, that we are here today not because by a choice. We can do the calculation statistically. 95% of people are Christian today, they are Christian because their father were Christians. There's a danger I've seen so far. My guy can testify to that. If we leave somebody who was saying it, that's why I said Muslims will go back and talk to the Muslim. Christians will go back and talk to the Christian. Leaders will not just keep quiet. A lot of things are going there. Someone will say, yes, you can be a Muslim. But when you leave Islam, the next thing to do is to kill you. Where did you see that in the Quran? And it's in the here. You can Google it. So also there are some misinformation among the Christians as well. Say a lot of things.
All right, Prof, we want to come back to that when we are rounding off the conversation this morning. But I want us to talk briefly about what we are seeing in Nigeria, especially the issue of security. And we see religion at the center of insecurity in Nigeria. I know there's been a lot of controversy. There's been a lot of debate about this. It's a very sensitive matter. But I don't think we should talk about religion without talking about what we are currently facing in Nigeria. Now, Prof, I've not mentioned any religion, but when we see insecurity and religion side by side, we see, or it looks like religion is kind of fueling insecurity in Nigeria. How do we handle issues like this? I want Professor Abbas to start first.
Insecurity has nothing to do with any religion. If there is anybody that propagates security, is religion. But you see, unfortunately, people use the religion to perpetrate evils. If you go so deep, I gave an example the other time, that all these people who maim, who capture people, and so on, the first thing that you hear in the social media or in the news is that these are Fulani people. Even in Yoruba land here. And we have seen people arrested, and they said they were mimicking Fulani so that they can take Fulani for the thing. Go and Google, go and find out. All those people who have done all those things in Yoruba land, what are their names? In Ekiti, in Ekiti, you have a lot of examples. A neighbor who took a child into the bush and they are looking for ransom. And he said, they are Fulani. When the investigation came up, the result of the investigation, I said that even they are neighbors, Yoruba people. That's why I say hypocrisy. We denigrate, because it's frustrating in Nigeria. If a Muslim stands up and says, they are Christians, so they are common. If the Christians go, they are Muslims, so they are killing us. So look at their religion. The religion is a religion of killing people. It is a lie. Go so deep, you see that what they are doing is direct opposite. Here, the one Malam in the north was celebrated, was given an award. In Jos, when they were killing themselves, the Muslims, the Christians were moving about 100 and something. It's a Malam who secured them. They gave that Malam an award now. We will not talk about that. We will think that once Oga as a Jacob and me as a Latif, once we see ourselves, we should not work together.
What are Islamic leaders doing to make sure that these terrorists, these people feeling insecurity in Nigeria, showing themselves or coming out as Muslims, do not bastardize the religion?
No, it is for governments. When you say security,
I mean, we will not leave this to the last of government.
No, religious leaders are doing their own.
Okay.
But they don't have the powers that government has. They don't have. I'm sorry to quote this example. Only the thing will come to mind every time. Do you think any religious leader, any religious group can do what government has done? Then you have a pastor leading the faith. If Muslim leaders goes out to do that one, they say no, because they hate us. In many countries, many same country, security is not left in the hands of religious leaders.
Mine is not left at their hands. We also understand that everybody has to come together, and that is why we are asking.
Not everybody will come together.
But Prof,
let me tell you, look at the job of government. The first one is to secure the life of everybody, whether they are enemies, whether they are Muslim, whether they are Christian. Equality of any country lies with the government, because you have the apparatus to do it.
And because the apparatus is a religious circle. Because Nigeria is a very religious country. We say
they are religious, they are not godly.
So they are
religious. You see, people who understand religion will tell you the difference between being religious and being godly.
So which one should be taken in high?
Godliness. We are referring. You are referring. The vendor I said, that knows. He's there, he's still there.
I know.
You know him. Was it religion that taught him that time? The person is a Christian. But in those days when you go about in the bush, those of us who lived in villages, when you have some agricultural products, you put it on the road for people to buy. You put the sample of the money they put there. The people knew it was a taboo to take it freely and to steal it. Which God does not teach us sincerity.
So godliness.
Godliness.
Let me start with what Oga was saying. It was a taboo that time. That taboo is traditional religion.
It's not.
And let me finish that.
It's not. It's not only traditional religion.
I'll give an example of that. Before Islam came and Christianity came, people have been living their life. And the religion was helping them. What happened is that African belief in spirit. The land has its own spirit. The water, everything has its own spirit. The argument is that product has its own spirit. The land has its own spirit. Money has its own spirit. Money is called Aji. So if you steal it, that spirit is able to see you. It was working for them. Now,
because they believe.
Of course, that their belief system now. Christianity came and Islam came. In fact,
was there any violation at that time?
There were violations were there and there were penalty immediately.
Was it immediate penalty? Sometimes we look at it.
Let me answer. Let's on issue of security, sir. Let's go on security. Issue of security. Religion is a very big factor in security. Security of life and properties. in the north, the Isba is there, destroying their palo. That's no, it's all, you cannot sell beer here.
We are mixing things.
Let me finish that. I have a paper on that.
We are mixing things together.
Today, we have terrorists all over. We have Al-Qaeda, we have Boko Haram, all over. They are claiming Islam. But they are not Islam. The word Boko Haram, that's Lani is haram. It's not true. In Islam contributed to the emergence of mathematics, algebra, chemistry. Many Islamic theologians.
So why do they say it's haram?
Indoctrination and poor knowledge of the religion. That is what is happening. So now, religion is the factor in security. Like Oga said, no, we can't. It's religion, and I'm still saying, let everybody go back home, talk to your people.
But Prof,
people who are mentioning, who are calling themselves Muslim, who are doing a lot of, they want to kill somebody. Even this man says to now, late Buhari, you want to kill, you begin to recite Arabic. Which is against Islamic teaching. It's against Quranic teaching. I think what is very urgent now, that let Muslims come together and address issue of abnormality taking place. Those who are damaging Islam. Islam is not a bad religion. No. I'm not a Muslim, and I'm not saying because of anybody. Because Islamic belief, we look at Islamic belief, if you look at the belief step by step. My PhD is on business ethics. I know a lot of things about Islam. On diet, on meeting, even dialogue, even the jihad. Let me tell you jihad. Let's say jihad. Jihad. If you see you are going, you saw a broken bottle on the road, you clear out of it, it's jihad. But how many people understand that today? As far as, of course, what I'm not saying is what I want to say, my guys here, we are tired of you religious leaders. we are not working. Go back home as a religious leader, call a meeting of all the Muslims, address all this wahala inside Islam as an example, which is infiltrating to other religions. You are saying they should preach religious tolerance. The Christian too, let them go back. I was at the camp, I blast them. I'm a Christian. I said, what's this camp? What's the PFN? Why can't you come together? And I said this, let Christian ignore Muslim and follow their religion, do the right thing. Let Muslim ignore Christian. If a Christian live by Christian way of life today, there be sanity. If Muslim live by, look at business in the Quran, you cannot hold it. If you hold the product, it will stand against you on the day of judgment. That's the way. Islam has a way of, even Christianity has a way of saying, don't profiteer. Even in Yoruba, you say, "Entoba tagepe," Yoruba okuta, and that's why I said categorically here that there are 4 characteristics of religion: creed, code, court, and communion. And I've explained it. On that account, on what account one religion say is superior to the other? It cannot work. You see. So when this is one religion is superior to the other, God will say that I'm a Christian, I go to church. But what I'm saying as a scholar of religious study is that every religion is important. As religion is so important to you, so mine is important to me.
All right, Prof. Let's leave it on that note so we can have Professor.
Yes, you see, we'll be dancing around the thing. All these religions preach what is good, but they cannot enforce. They cannot enforce. That's I said security. In terms of security, no religion can enforce in Nigeria.
Prof, while you are answering that, I think you should also add this to it. How can we tolerate one another?
How good?
Because now, Prof, I want to point something out to you. When we were talking about traditionalists, you seem to have you seem to not want to get yourself affiliated, because we also called it pagan. So how can we begin to tolerate one another? To make sure that because this person is not practicing my religion, does not believe in my religion, it does not mean I should castigate them or push them out.
Yes, let me tell you. That's why, you see, when we talk, please take our words as like education. Anybody, because he knows about religion, that's why he's saying this. That is strange to you. If we talk about jihad, you say, no, what you know about jihad, we said is killing. You see, you have to understand, I have to understand Christianity for what it is. You have to understand Islam for what it is. If traditional religion for what it is. You see?
You are an advocate of tradition.
Yes, that I am not a traditionalist or a Christian does not mean I must fight. We are very close friends. I'm a Muslim. He is not. But we are very, very close friends. So to other people. Because we know what education does is to elevate, to take people out of ignorance, to know how to deal with each other. When I was here as a producer, when I was here, we had so many friends who are Christians. In fact, let me tell you, out of 32 producers that started TSOs, we were only 3 Muslims. When it was this station that did Ramadan program first in television. So we were asked to go and cover Hajj in 1984. The person who suggested to us was my Oga Adediba, a Christian. So we are so come together that you can hardly. Now, what I'm pointing out is that everybody is free to practice his religion. I'm not saying you should be a Muslim. You cannot force me to be a traditionalist, but then we must work together. Islam says we must tolerate each other.
And by doing that, we have to be educated.
Yeah, for example, in chapter 3, verse 64, it said, all these religions come together, dialogue about what is so common amongst us. There are so many Quranic passages that you must not hate people because they don't take you. If you check chapter 10, verse 99, it says, should you hate a person because he's not a Muslim? All these are there. People who don't understand, we are educating them. Let everybody, like you said, educate people. The government must stop it. Let me tell you, is that in America, in Australia, in UK, are the religious bodies administering their environment? No! Because they don't have the tool. They don't have. Government must come together with the religionists to forge ahead.
It feels like we have so much ground to cover, but unfortunately because of our time, we've not talked about marriage in terms of religion. We've not talked about our outfits, our outlook, our, like Prof said, way of life. We've not talked about food, but we hope we can continue to have enough time or another time to talk about these particular conversations.
I think what we have learned today from what both of you, jolly good friends, have given us today is respect for each other's culture.
Oh yes, thank you.
Tolerance and understanding.
Yes.
Not just going say and you want to read. Now on a final note, there's been a damage being done. Not just because some people read, but they do not read to understand and preach godliness. They read to spread a propaganda, to set an agenda. What do we speak to individuals like that? Shortly, both of you, please.
Well, to me, I'm still saying, let all the Islamic movements, organizations go back home and talk to Muslims and educate the Muslim about what Islam is all about. Let Christians go together and talk to Christians what Christianity is all about. That is one. Let them again move to the second level of teaching religious tolerance. Biblical passages are there replete with religious tolerance. In fact, I was looking for, you can check later in the day, in my inaugural lecture, there's a place I call religious pluralism. In the Quran, God may know better. Very long Quran say, what you are giving to people of the past, you begin to mention the prophets step by step until mention Prophet Muhammad with the last one, this is to him, that we are all saying the same thing. So religious pluralism is real. Apart from Islam, there's Christianity and certain religion. Apart from Christianity, there's Islam. We must understand pluralism. The idea that somebody wants to impose one religion on the other cannot work. There must be a need to respect every religion. And now, when I say traditionalists, and I'm still saying it today, just 1 minute, we are all here. There are 5 belief systems characterizing traditional religion. Belief in God, ancestor, divinity, spirit, magic, and medicine. Do you know today, consciously and unconsciously, both Christian and Muslim, they are practicing it unknowingly? And I tell you, what I'm saying that my summary is that let Christians go back home and address inadequacy in Christianity that lead to intolerance. Let Muslims go back home address problem leading to intolerance.
All right, thank you, Prof.
These leaders are here.
Yes, you have said it. Respect for each other in the region. Then that is very important. Then we tell each person, and above all, each creed should tell its people, and they are doing it. But let them be sincere with it.
All right.
Let me give an example. A situation where it takes Soludo to delve into Christianity, miracle people, and it caught 4 pastors. Okay, we say you can open people's eyes. Do it now. When you are released. That's why I said, don't. Government who can enforce it. Not religion.
Thank you very much. That was Professor Wole Abbas, who is Executive Secretary of MUSWEN, and also he was a former head of the Department of Arabic and Islamic Studies at the University of Ibadan. And he has been sat here alongside his jolly good friend, Professor Jacob Ayontayo, who is an expert in sociology of religion.
I'm a Christian.
A Christian and
traditionalist. I'm an advocate of religion. Religious tolerance is important.
Of inclusion.
Prof, we have to start another conversation on that. All right, thank you so much, professors. We really appreciate your input and your time. Thank you so much. As we wrap it up on the program this morning, we just want to preach that let's learn how to live with one another. Let's learn how to tolerate our religion. We are all equally important, and our religion matters to us, whatever religion it is you practice. Thank you so much for staying with us on the program this morning. I am Oluwafunmi Bello, saying have a